Fred in the shed, and I've got my Alinco DX-SR8 on the bench, if you like, just for a couple of little things that I want to do to the radio. And firstly, I've had a lot of interest in when I painted the little indents on the sort of controls here, because they are rubber and they are quite difficult to see, and I need to do mine again because when I've taken this on holiday, getting this in and out of a bag, I've unfortunately managed to sort of brush them off, or scrape them off. So I'm going to do them again, but just because I've answered this so many times in the comments now, the colour that I'm using is a Humbrol enamel, and it's matte. I don't know if that's coming out, but it's matte number 46. And I tried to get the best possible match to the sort of other paint on the controls, and that's the one that I got. Don't get the gloss one. Make sure you get the matte 46. So yeah, I'm just going to very, very carefully touch in those little sort of knobs. And then another thing, well, two things actually, that's kind of bothered me with this radio. The sort of power lead that I got, which fits the sort of Alinco. Now, I don't know if this is the original lead. I bought this second hand in used condition. This radio is absolutely fine, but I've never had any fuses in this lead. It's got a ballon here just as it comes out. I've opened this up to make sure, but it hasn't got any fuses. Now, I don't know if that's standard, if that's how it is. Maybe the fuses are built into the radio. I know the front plate comes off and possibly there's fuses in, but it's kind of always bothered me, if you like. So as I've got quite a long sort of lead, I don't need to sort of worry too much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to splice in a inline fuse. I bought this fuse. It's for a sort of camping sort of device. The cable looks sort of thick enough. I did go, I think I went for about 40 amp. So the cable certainly looks sort of big enough, and it comes with a 25 amp fuse, which should be okay. It might be a little bit low. It's just a standard sort of audio, standard automotive blade fuse, so I've got plenty of those. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do today. So we're just going to introduce a fuse on the positive side of it. I mean, you should really have two, I suppose. Some of my other radios I've got two, but I think one's sort of better than none. And yeah, and then we're going to do some touching up there on those little controls. Oh, and then finally, what I'm going to try and do also, I've got these sort of very sort of high amperage little sort of connections here that should go onto the sort of cabling. I've got this fitted on 9900 now, and also the 450, just to it makes a better connection when I put it onto the sort of power supply. At the moment I'm having to sort of bend the wires around the poles. Again, you know, I'm not all that happy with that. I don't want it sort of heating up, so we're going to sort of splice and just solder on a couple of these really sort of heavy duty sort of power supply connecting terminals, if you like. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll speed it all up because you don't want to sit and watch me do it in real time, because it's as boring as watching paint dry, literally watching paint dry. Right, all done. There we go. I've changed the angle of the camera so it looks... So I just think this is a great addition to the controls on this radio, and also the receiver. You can get the non-transmitting sort of version. It just makes these controls that much easier to see. They are a little bit difficult to sort of see, especially with the IF shift there. And yeah, the RRT control and the squelch, if you use it. So yeah, as I say, a little bit of Humbrol paint, just going to let that dry. It does chip off quite easily because these are rubber, of course, but it doesn't take very long just to sort of recoat them. So yeah, that's that little job done, and next thing is to tackle the power lead. You know, one thing I do like about this power lead, although it hasn't got a fuse, is sort of like a double lead here. We have got sort of two wires there, you know, twisted together to sort of help spread the load, and that sort of helps when we get to sort of the plug, because I say each one goes in sort of separately, which is sort of quite good. I probably might end up getting another lead for this at some point. You know, I did buy one for my last Alinco. They're not all that expensive really. I think they're about £30 or something like that. I don't use this radio very often. I only really use it when I go on holidays. I want to start using it on the 305 because I want to try a different microphone on it anyway. But yeah, but I think, you know, we'll just splice this in, and I think it'll just be a little bit safer with an inline fuse. It might not need it. Tell me in the comments if you got this radio. You might say, Fred, you know, you're wasting your time. It's got a built-in sort of fuse, and you don't need to worry about this. And just me being a little bit paranoid in my old age, but well, just the way I am. Over-engineer things, I think, but just the way I am, really. Right, so that's what I've done. I don't know if I've done the right thing. I'm really not sure, to be perfectly honest. I've literally just welded that wire together with solder, and I'm going to try and put some heat shrink over it. Like I say, you know, not entirely sure if that's the correct way to do it. You know, sort of continuity wise, it will get a good sort of connection. Hopefully it won't sort of heat up. And like I say, I'll probably end up getting a new lead anyway. But yeah, I'm not sure. You know, I'm sure there's better ways of doing that. But to me, it's a bit basic. But it certainly seems to be a good sort of connection. So, well, that's the way I've done it. I'm probably wrong. I normally am. I'm sure someone will tell me. But I'm open to criticism. But it does seem to be quite a nice, firm connection there. That is just literally sort of solid solder. So it's not going to go anywhere in a hurry anyway. Done the fuse. That's the fuse inline. The only thing disappointing was that I couldn't get the heat shrink over the connection once I'd soldered it. That was the biggest piece of sort of heat shrink that I had, unfortunately. So I had to use some sort of car standard cloth type insulation tape, which yeah, I was hoping to sort of get it a little bit neater than that, to be honest. But you know, there you go. So yeah, we've now got a fuse inline, 25 amp. As I say, I think that's probably about right. I can always go up to 30 amp if necessary. And yeah, see how it goes. Hopefully it won't heat up. I'll soon find out, I guess. So next thing now is just on the end of these is to put those heavy duty little terminals on there for the power supply. So I'm just going to solder them on, and yeah, that's job done. This is what we ended up with. It's a bit like Frankenstein's cable, isn't it? It's not pretty, let's be honest about it, but I'm hoping it's going to be sort of safe and practical. We've got those heavy duty connectors there to go onto the power supply, and that's a lot better, I think, than just trying to wrap those wires around the sort of terminals. They're all sort of nicely soldered on. And that's it. So there you go. It's sort of, you know, a bit of a Fred in the shed kind of. I mean, what I'm going to say is a declaration. You know, this is all at my own risk, by the way, doing things like on this on radios and with cables. You know, I'm not saying that anyone should follow my example and copy me. Obviously, if you do, then you're doing that at your own risk. I'm not trained at all, as you can easily see, in electrical engineering. Not absolutely. I'm just sort of a hobbyist. I'm a guy in a shed. So yeah, you know, everything at your own risk. That's everything on Fred in your shed. I don't want comments sort of saying that I'm doing things that are dangerous and should be sort of hung from the nearest lamppost and crap like that. So everything at your own risk. Anyway, let's wait for 305 and get on the radio.
On the old aesthetic. Alright, yeah, it sounds alright, nice and clear. Everybody seems to be lacking a bit of depth. I've had to put a bit of bass on everybody. Roger, yeah, no, that's how you like it, innit? You like it a bit basic. What have you been up to today? Anything cool? No, mate, nothing really. I modded a little 3-volt fan that I've got in the shack which ran off batteries, and I've managed to get a voltage dropper, or made one, and I wired that in so it can run all the time. Oh, cool, happy days, mate. Happy days. Yeah, well, I was going to wash the van this morning, but it was raining, so I thought I'll do it this afternoon. You know it is, never happened. Yeah, Roger. Well, chuck it across to Eric then, see if he can get you. I know he's got a little bit of noise, and then once you're finished with Eric, chuck it across to Fred, and you'll be able to give him a mic check. Charlie Tango 2714. Oh, had somebody come back to me there. 714 was it? Over. Charlie Tango 2714. You got David on the key this end. If you can come back with your location and your name.
Afternoon, awesome Dave. It's Lee from Harlow, yeah?
Hey Lee, how you doing, mate? Hope you had a fab day.
Yeah, mate, all good, all good. I don't know what my signal's doing here. I'm sort of constantly mucking around with antennas and that over this way.
Well, I can't give you a signal report because I'm running a little bit of preamp, but the audio's quiet but I can hear you no problem at all. Yeah, Lee, in Harlow, have you got a copy on Robbie and Watford?
Yes, mate, not a problem. About signal 3 to 4, radio 4 to 5, all good. Have you got this one? This is Charlie Tango 30 and 60. You've got Lee this side, it's Charlie Tango 2714, and I'm junction 7 of the M11 at Harlow. As I say, you're going, I don't think no one else is in. Can anyone else in the group hear? What's your operator's name? It's Lee this side. Lee.
If I haven't got him, Robbie.
I just got him, Dave.
Oh, go ahead. Go on then, Fred.
Yeah, I think that's Mike. Yeah, I think that was Mike 3060. I think that was Mike. I just about got him.
Give him a shout then.
Don't know if you'll get me. Yeah, Mike 3060. Charlie Tango 3060. Fred in the shed 1664 giving you a call. I will give him a go. He's a bit far from me. Yeah, Lee, how am I coming across to you? Yeah, Fred in the shed, St Albans, over.